here on Saturday, January 24th, with a major winter storm approaching the area currently. As you can see here on radar, um, the snow has begun in areas in the Midwest um, and in areas in the South, such as Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, over by St. Louis. Snow has begun in those areas. Areas further south right now are currently seeing a wintry mix in Arkansas, Mississippi, some areas of Texas. Um, so this storm has begun and is impacting a lot of areas of the country right now. And as you can see, it's starting to move towards the northeast, towards our area, and it will arrive here later tonight. Just sort of playing this out for you. You can see it's moving towards us. It's continuing to move towards our area. And here's the current position of the storm. Moisture is coming off the Gulf as well. So there will be plenty of moisture with this storm. Looking at conditions at 7 a.m. this morning, it's around 10 degrees in DC. Winds out of the north at around 15 miles per hour. So very pretty windy, very cold. Um, Temperatures throughout the country extremely cold. The Midwest, a lot of areas around 0 degrees. Some areas of Pennsylvania, -2 degrees. Um, so this cold air is really everywhere as the storm is approaching. Um, Looking at the current temperature, so 13 degrees at Dulles Airport, winds out of the north, 15 degrees at National Airport, winds also out of the north, so very cold everywhere. Gaithersburg, 15, College Park, 16, uh, BWI, 16 degrees. Even on the eastern shore, 14, 16. Even further south in our area, going down into, um, going down near the Richmond region, it's still very cold. Um, so nowhere really major warmth. 17 degrees. So we're looking at that cold everywhere impacting our area. Further out in the Midwest, it's even colder. A lot of areas in the negatives. So we can see that cold air everywhere. A lot of winter storm warnings. We're under a winter storm warning as well. But also a lot of winter storm warnings and tons of storm warnings throughout much of the country. Look at this. Um, and you can see the precipitation has already started in a lot of areas, as I mentioned before. Uh, Going on from there, we have a winter storm warning for the area. The immediate DC area, DC, uh, around Baltimore, Montgomery County, Anne Arundel County, Prince George's County, uh, Arlington, Fairfax. So this is right around the DC area. Snow beginning around 11 p.m. this evening. And this goes through 4 a.m. Monday. Uh, Impacts, power outages, and tree damage are likely due to ice. Travel could be nearly impossible. The hazardous conditions could impact Monday morning commute. Some more details. Snow will likely overspread the area tonight, becoming heavy at times, with rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour possible at times. So 1 to 2 inches per hour, very, very heavy snow at some times. Uh, it may not look like much snow at one point, and then and then a little bit later, a lot of snow on the roads, making things very difficult. A mix of sleet or freezing rain is expected Sunday. Significant icing is possible, especially south of Highway 50, Visibility of 1/4 mile or less is possible at times. A prolonged period of wind chills in the teens and single digits continues this evening and lasting through the middle of next week with sub-zero wind chills possible at times. So not only the winter weather, also the extreme cold is something you have to be aware of right now. Um, but this winter storm will bring fairly significant impacts, and you have to watch out for that icing too. Will you get sleet? Will you get freezing rain? Freezing rain is probably the worst thing you could possibly get with this storm. Um, a sheet of ice that'll be, you know, everything will be slippery. It'll be like impossible to drive on. Snow, you can oftentimes, it's still difficult, but you can oftentimes, if you it, you will oftentimes be able to drive through some snow. Sleet uh, won't be as bad. Sometimes you can have some traction with some sleet, but a sheet of freezing rain, um, everything will be slippery, and you really can't drive on that at all. So watching out for that ice. Where will the freezing rain be? That's a big question, and a question that will be very impactful with this storm. Uh, sort of going on from there. Let's look at more of our modeling from here on out. Just trying to pull some models up. All right, here's the European model, the 0Z, which came out, um, it came out last night, but the 0Z from yesterday evening. Uh, so as you can see into today, Sunday, this winter storm is impacting much of the country. A lot of ice, a lot of snow. This is at around 1 p.m. later on today. This is the forecast. Um, and here we're still just waiting for it to move in throughout much of the day today. This is 7 p.m. today. We'll still be waiting for it to move in. Now we get to 3. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Now we get to 10 p.m. tonight. Snow has just begun in our region. It's just beginning to begin, really. So this is the beginning of the event right here in the Maryland, Virginia, D.C. area. Ice still to the south. Snow continuing to impact the area as we get through later on into the night. This is around 1 a.m. Now it's about 4 a.m. and snow is getting heavier. More moisture from the south is now really beginning to push up into our area at this point. 7 a.m. Very heavy snow throughout our area. Um, Now, though, as you can see in our southern zones, the wintry mix has begun to set in um, by 7 a.m. at this point. So now not all of our area is getting snow, but if you live farther to the south, it looks like you will get a wintry mix at this point. Uh, Now we're moving on to 1 p.m. This is around 1 p.m. The wintry mix has made its way right into DC by this point, and areas to the north and west of DC still seeing snow. At this point, this is about 4 p.m. Most of the area now is seeing a wintry mix, and pretty much almost the entire area will be seeing a wintry mix as the storm moves out. So going on from there, uh, the European model can oftentimes pick up on some of this pretty well, so I was going to look at that as I just did. Now looking at the rapid refresh model, this is sort of a more uh, it doesn't run as far out. It only runs 51 hours out, but it'll give us a picture of the event for just our immediate area. Snow as well moving in later on tonight around 11 p.m. Continuing on through into the morning before a mix moves it in. As we go into the late morning, it looks like much of the area now beginning to see that wintry mix after some heavy snow. Um, and it looks like a mix, mostly sleet and maybe a little freezing rain as well with this wintry mix on the rat model. before the storm moves out later on tomorrow night. And then looking at, let's see what other model I should look at here. I'll look at the HER. This is a high resolution model and only runs 48 hours out. Um, so it also brings in the snow late tonight, around 11 p.m. tonight. Snow gets heavy by tomorrow morning before changing over as well, and then it moves out. So all these models seem to uh, give a fairly similar picture of when the event starts, around when the changes will happen to a mix, and when it will move out. Looking at the overall amounts from these models, this HER model brings around 8 inches to DC, more further north and west to the south. Similar with this RAT model, 7 inches to DC, 10 further north and west, and only about 3 further south. The European model, which we just looked at, brings definitely more snow, around 13, 14 inches to DC. I don't know if I completely buy that. I think the change over to sleet and freezing rain might limit that a bit. 18.7 further north and west, and less to the south, just depending on where you are. 3 in Southern Virginia, around 6 in Richmond. So yeah, and moving on from that, uh, I'll look at like maybe I'll look at the icon, uh, just for snow totals here. And it looks like it's bringing us about 8 inches of snow to around DC, less further south, and again more to the north and west around a foot. Around northern Maryland, around 10 inches, maybe 11 to a foot. So the different models definitely have a different picture of it, but a lot of them are bringing, a lot of them are aligning more now. And then after that, there's also extreme cold behind this storm as well as the cold now. So that's another thing we'll have to watch out for, is dealing with more of this extreme cold. Um, as you can see, as I go out a bit further after that, this is so going after the storm moves out. Monday, only 23 degrees. Tuesday overnight, potentially, this brings it to 0. I don't know if I buy that, but temperatures will likely be in the single digits by Tuesday morning. Wednesday morning, 4 degrees, this brings it to. So very extreme cold for a fairly long time is very much possible. Then sort of moving on from there, this is sort of my overall snowfall forecast. DC in the immediate metro area, sort of DC, Montgomery County, places like Fairfax, Prince George's, right around the DC area. I went with a total of 7 to 11 inches of snow. I think right in DC itself, it would probably be more around the 7-inch mark, given the warmer temperatures in the city and the potential mixing. Uh, Further out in like Montgomery County, some areas could see more, potentially 9, 10, 11 inches. So that sort of is why I went with that range. Sorry, that wasn't supposed to happen. And then going south and east of DC, 3 to 7 inches of snow. There will be more mixing in these areas, limiting snow totals more. And areas to the north and west, 11 to 15 inches of snow. Much more snow, less mixing occurring. So some areas could potentially get like a foot of snow in those regions, just given less mixing with the event. So that just about concludes this video. Just stay careful, stay safe, and watch out for ice. Be careful of the ice as well. I've talked a lot about the snow, but ice is very much a concern as well. Thank you for watching this video and stay safe through the event.